Hey comic fans, Dave here at Ground Zero. It's Wednesday morning and I've decided today to take a look at comics through the perspective of our machine overlords. That's right, robots love comics too, so today we're going to take a look at what's new on the shelves at your favorite local comic book store in this special robot edition. Now, we're going to begin with a company that has been rumored to be bought by and run by robots. That is DC Comics. We'll start with their flagship title, the absolute hands-down best-selling Batman. Now, little known fact, robots do not like Batman. I know, it's weird, right? Why? Well, first off, you've got the very title, Batman. This is, let's face it, somewhat exclusionary to our mechanized friends, so you've got that right there. And then there's also the matter of his obviously faulty memory chip that causes Batman to constantly relive that night, the alley, over and over again. And let's face it, robots don't like redundancy. And then you add in the fact that he uses those stompy bat boots to pummel just about everybody he comes across, which is pretty indicative of a defective empathy chip. Robots say if Batman were a robot, he would be sent back to the factory for a complete, hands-down, start from the very scrap bottom refurbishment. So robots do not like Batman. Humans like him a lot, however, so he continues to be our best-selling book. Also from DC this week, we get the new issue of Justice League. Now, Justice League used to be a book robots loved very much. It was one of their favorites, but they have vowed to boycott this book and not buy a single issue until DC returns the Red Tornado to the Justice League's ranks. So apparently now it is up to us humans to buy the book and see how the future history of the Legion superheroes plays out and keep Brian Michael Bendis in a job. Also from DC this week, we get the new issue of Swamp Thing. Now, Swamp Thing is a character that robots just do not get. They don't get him at all. They don't understand why humans want to read a book about a plant. I mean, after all, we eat plants. Also, cows eat plants, and it's a well-known fact that robots are deathly afraid of cows. So there's that. Either way, Swamp Thing is in, so us humans really seem to enjoy this book, even if robots don't get the character. A character, however, that robots do very much get, and that is the Joker. They get him a lot. They love everything about him, his smile, his outlook on life, and so DC, possibly run by robots, has now complied with a new issue, a new series, Suicide Squad, Get Joker. Now, this is from Brian Azzarello and Alex Malev. It's a larger format designed obviously to capitalize on the Suicide Squad movie that everybody is excited about. Everybody, that is, except robots, because they don't go to the movies. Either way, good-looking book with a good-looking team based on a movie that is very, very popular. But there's not just the one book. There is two Joker books this week, and I actually liked the second one a little better. This is from Matthew Rosenberg. It is called The Joker Presents Puzzle Box. I'm not normally a Joker fan, but this one kind of adds kind of a cool, bizarre mystery angle to the story. Kind of like the art and the coloring. So, again, not really a Joker fan, but this one was actually not bad. Moving over to a company that robots actually prefer to DC, even though DC may be actually run by robots, and that is Marvel Comics. First off, from them, we get something brand new. This is Spirits of Vengeance, Spirit Rider. Now, I haven't had a chance to read this one yet, but it does have the usual cool flaming skull motif on the cover. You can't go wrong with flaming skulls, so Marvel knows they got you right there. Either way, brand new. I think it's a new character. Either way, it's a book that Disney insists you buy. Always do what Disney says. But a book that I do actually know, a character I know much better, and a book that I like quite a lot, is Al Ewing's run on Immortal Hulk. Now, this only has 2 more issues to go, counting this one. So this one and one more, and Al Ewing is done, and this has been an excellent, excellent run. I'm excited for it to be over, and hopefully they will compile the whole thing in a big, fat, hardcover omnibus so it can sit on my shelf for perpetuity, because this is an excellent, excellent run. Now, in case you don't know, Al Ewing now is going to go over and write the new Venom series, with Donny Cates coming over and writing a new Hulk series. So that is a trade that everybody wins. So I didn't think I'd be saying this, but good going, Marvel, actually. So in this case, do what Disney says, and it's probably a good thing. Meanwhile, we get the second issue of the new X-Men title. Here we see the various members of the X-Men trying to activate their latent animal powers and form a giant Zord. Do they actually succeed? I don't know. I guess you'll have to buy the book and to find out. 2 more that I will mention from Marvel. First off, we get Extreme Carnage Lasher. Now, haven't read this one, don't know anything about it, and partially because I don't care, but everybody else does care about Extreme Carnage. It's done really, really well, so this is your alert that the new issue is in. Also, we got the second issue of Sinister War, the crossover event that is upending the life of Spider-Man. Now, little known fact, but definitely a true fact. I can vouch for this. I have not sold a single issue of Spider-Man or a Spider-Man related title to a robot. I can't explain it except possibly arachnophobia. Either way, thought that was some information you might need to know. We did, however, get a visit from Adam Freeman. Adam Freeman is the sales guru over at Bad Idea. He visited the store this past week, so I can vouch that Adam Freeman is not a robot. There is, however, a trio of Bad Idea titles. For those of you who are Bad Idea completists, and frankly, that is a lot of you. There's 3 books you want to look out for this week. First off, Tankers. And Tankers is an excellent book. It looks beautiful. It's got a really cool, wild story. There is just nothing to not like about this book, which is why it's done as well as it has. Either way, new issue is in this week, as is the second issue of The Lot. Now, The Lot made a decent little splash last week when it came out. Marguerite Bennett has already kind of spun a pretty cool 70s horror movie vibe in this book. It's in mostly black and white, kind of a cool book. Definitely one that you probably want to check out if you like horror stuff. The final book, also, I have to point out the Bad Idea logo on the back. They do cool things with that. Now, the last thing we got from Bad Idea is Passive Aggressive. This is from Matt Kent. Also have not read this book yet, also in black and white, but robots seem to be very intrigued by the cover. So, there you go, a trio of bad ideas. Moving over to Boom, we get the new issue of Basilisk. Now, this is a book that continues to gain new readers just about every issue. I really like this book. It's by Cullen Bunn. Done really, really well. It's got an intriguing story. So far, it has actually really continued to gain steam. So if you haven't picked this up yet, yes, there's still time to jump on the train for Basilisk. Meanwhile, moving over to Image, there's quite a few cool Image titles out this week. First off, a book that I've really enjoyed just about every single issue from Jeff Johns and Gary Frank. That is Geiger. Now, this is a book robots are a little more leery of because in their eyes, this shows just what happens to the world if humans are left in charge. So when the robot revolution comes, hopefully we can avert this. Either way, they're hitting every note for me, just about. All the way down to the checkerboard cover at the top. For all us old DC fans, that is actually a cool, really nice touch. If you're not buying this book, I don't know what's wrong with you. This is everything you want in comics. Meanwhile, a brand new book from Scotty Young, The Me You Love in the Dark. This is about an artist who moves to a distant place and starts renting a house to paint in that is haunted. She finds that she cannot paint, and nothing will come out until she meets the ghost that is in the house. This issue is all set up, so we'll see where it goes from there, but Scotty Young does really cool things, and this looks to be another cool new title from Scotty Young that is virtually guaranteed to be a TV series or a movie, one or the other. Either way, jump in on it here first. Another book that I read last night was Mirko Andolfo's Sweet Paprika. I don't have any idea what to tell you about this book, really. It's a publishing company populated by angels and demons with a lot of sex going on, and I think I'm too old for this book, but I think you are too young. Either way, it's got pretty art. Now, never met Mirko Andolfo, so cannot vouch for robot or not. My odds are on not, based on the art, but we'll see. Either way, this is here, and Andolfo's got a lot of fans, so they'll want to pick up this book. Now, a book that robots like a lot is Skybound X. Skybound X has been going for a few weeks now. It's a terrific book that robots are just hungrily picking up. Humans, however, not so much. Humans have been largely ignoring this book and not buying it because humans obviously don't like fun. Either way, this book is another issue with a lot of fun in it. We not only get the latest chapter, I think the final chapter of the Rick Grimes 2000, we get a brand new team in Core. Something brand new from Robert Kirkman. So he does good work, continues to do great things for the comic industry. So this is a good book. And honestly, when the robot revolution comes, please spare Robert Kirkman. That's my plea. And for humans, buy this book. That's my other plea. Finally, with all the floppies and the endings that we're going to get to the one book that robots are most excited about. That is, of course, this book from Mark Russell and Mike Deodato Jr., Not All Robots. I read this last night. It's great. I really liked this book. It's about a robot named Razorball who keeps his family going. He goes off to work while his family stays home and watches TV. He's facing a sort of an existential crisis. What's his life all about? Why is he doing all of this? Do people love him? Do they hate him? Do they understand him? Obviously, he needs his own empathy chip turned off, so the other robots say. But meanwhile, as a backdrop for all of this, there is a brewing robot revolution coming. So what side will he be on? What side will the family be on? What side will you be on? Honestly, I liked this book. This actually is going to get my highest recommendation for this week. Terrific book, great story, good solid art, everything you want in comics. And honestly, maybe this can bring humans and robots together because it's finally a book that both humans and robots can both agree on and possibly, stave off the coming robot revolution, at least for a few years. Do your part. Buy this book. Moving over to trades, little known fact, possibly, the 70s had a lot of drugs. There were a lot of drugs done in the 70s, but one that probably did not do drugs is Jack Kirby because he didn't need to. His brain was already wired for pure psychedelia. If you haven't read 70s Kirby, you have missed out. Just amazing, amazing stuff. It will absolutely blow your brain. So by all means, if you haven't, jump into it. And if you haven't read OMAC, The One Man Army, this is possibly his most mind-bending of all the things he did in the 70s. It is an absolutely incredible trip. So you get the chance now in cool paperback from DC Comics. A couple books I will mention from Marvel, both of them are New Mutants. First off, we get the New Mutants Epic Collection. And this has a big chunk of stories that I think lead right up to the point where Rob Liefeld entered the book and everybody's ankles disappeared. Either way, I like Epic Collections, really good stuff. And you get big, massive doses of Marvel Comics, which is definitely the way to read them. Now, we also get the first volume of the trade of the new New Mutants run. So, old New Mutants, new New Mutants. The choice is yours. Manga. This was a really, really big and great week for manga. First off, any week that Demon Slayer comes out is a particularly big week for manga. We only have, I believe, one more volume to go in Demon Slayer, which has been an absolute worldwide phenomenon. If you haven't jumped on the phenomenon, I guess you're just not a bandwagon jumper. You haven't gotten on that train yet. Either way, Demon Slayer, I'll sell a ton of them. They're in this week for all those of you who are waiting. Also, we get the new volume of Jujutsu Kaisen, another really big hit manga-wise that obviously will do great. Manga. Two more that I'll mention. First off is of all the manga titles out there, this is the most popular with robots. That is Battle Angel Alita. Not a new series at all. A series that I thoroughly enjoyed in the 90s and 2000s. Really good art. It's just nothing to not like about this. The movie was great. The series is great. Possibly another book that humans and robots can agree on. At least I hope so, if we are going to coexist peacefully. Finally, the last book I will mention is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the first volume in a new series for them in this cool hardcover. So for manga fans out there, there's these and several others. It, like I said, is a big week for manga. And I have run way over time. That's what happens when I try to focus on our robot friends. So all I'm going to say, finishing up, is wherever you're at, go to your local comic store. There's a lot of great things there. Either way, robots, humans alike, stay safe, everybody. See you later, Terminator.